All right, for this video demonstration, my main goal is to show you how to work with skin tone and to map out the lights and darks, and just how to get the general layout of shadows and highlights throughout the face. So as you can see here in this image, we're going to use some random blobs in areas of darks and light to map that out. And then the video following that, I'm going to show you how to create layers of different light areas and layers of different dark areas. So pay attention to this next video, and hopefully it's helpful for you. All right, so here's the finished outline of my image. If I get rid of the background, you can see this is what I'm left with my drawing. It's pretty much a simple thin black line going around the entire thing that I traced. I did pay a little bit more attention to some important areas like around the face, the eyes, nose, and mouth, along with the hands, where the hair and the clothes I didn't try to get as exact. But as you can see, it's a pretty good tracing of the original drawing. And my next goal is to lay down a base color for some areas. And I'm going to start with the face and hands. So I'm going to do the skin tone real quick. So I'm going to bring the opacity up on the original image. And then I'm going to use my eyedropper to, before I do that, I'm going to pick the correct tool I'm going to use. I'm going to go up to this tool, and then I'm going to choose the eyedropper. And I'm going to pick a lighter part of the skin. I'm going to go with that color right there. And I'm going to bring the opacity of my pen all the way up. And I need to add a layer then. So I'm going to add a draw layer, but here's one thing I always do. It's totally up to you on how you want to do it, but I keep my original black border on top of my drawing. So if I were to come in here and color in on this, right now it's over top of my black line. I actually don't want that. So I'm going to keep my black line above my draw layer in this step, so that when I color, you can see the black line above, just like that. So my goal right now is to make a simple border around the face, all the skin and everything, and then I'll use that autofill technique to fill it in. So I'm just going to raise the size of this a little bit. Trace around the border of the face with this solid color. And depending on your level of OCD, or if you are a perfectionist or not, you can try to make sure that you go exactly by your line. Or if you don't really care if it goes a little bit past it, because that's kind of a style you're going for, there's nothing wrong with that either. Sometimes just kind of fly through it and make it a little bit more of a sketchy looking style. Other times I try to make it as exact as possible. Totally up to you. I know I'm going to go over this later on with the hair anyway, so I'm not going to waste my time getting that exact around the hair. But I'm just going to fill it in around here. And because that's blocked in, I can just use a simple fill all. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the hand over here. So you can try to make it as perfect as you'd like, or if you don't mind some areas going over the edge like that, you can just let it go. And remember, if you make a mistake, there's always the reverse option. Another option if you make a mistake is to just finish what you're doing and then get the eraser and fix your mistakes after that. Especially if you have a long line going, you don't want to retrace that entire part. There we go. Fill that in. Just like that, we now have our skin tone blocked in. So one question I received over and over again when we were practicing was, how do we blend? How do we create shadows and value? That's what I'm going to show you right now. And there are a lot of different ways you can accomplish this. Just because I'm doing it this one way does not mean you have to go about it the same way. Also, if you'd rather just keep more of a blocky look without blending or shading, that's fine as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to erase my skin tone. As you can see right here, right here, that eyeball is on there indicating that's hidden. All right, if you double tap it again, it shows up. So I'm going to hide this, and I'm going to zoom in on the face, and I'm going to create another layer, another draw layer. Then I'm going to pick a bizarre color, like lime green. And I'm going to trace around all the shadows in the face with this lime green. So I'm going to lower the size of the pen, and I'm going to zoom in here, and I notice that there's a shadow area right around here. There's definitely some shadows around the eyelid. It looks to me as if there's a shadow kind of coming over this way, like that, and I'm almost blocking out or mapping out some shadowy areas so that when I go in and create some detail, I'll know where all the shadows go. And I'll explain this a little bit further in a moment. This might still not make a ton of sense, but you'll see what my goal here is. And obviously there's going to be some cast shadows from the hair coming down. I probably don't have to map that out, I can just add that later on. But you'll see what I'm doing in a sec. So there's a shadow over here. Definitely some shadows in the ear. Some darker shadows in the neck area for sure. I see a shadow underneath the chin here. A little shadow over here. Shadow by the mouth and nose. And some more over here in the neck. Now this isn't even close to being perfect. I'm just kind of mapping this stuff out. I'm going to zoom out, see if I can see any more shadows. I could go into the hand right now, but I don't want to waste your time. I think I got majority of these shadowy areas in the face, and then I'm going to go in and choose a different color. Make sure it's completely different than the first one you used. And this time I'm going to go in and get all the highlights. So there's always typically a highlight on the bridge of the nose. Usually definitely one by the cheekbone area. This is a little bit lighter in this area here. There's definitely a highlight on the chin. I think there's some highlights over on this side of the face. Over there. Let's see, there could be a little highlight here. That's pretty good there. This is a little bit lighter right here, not too much, but I'll just put a little circles there just to help me out later on, and maybe a little bit on the ear right there. All right, so it looks super bizarre, kind of weird and creepy, but it's going to help me create the darks and lights on the face. And then after I do that, I'm going to show you how to blend them together.